Welcome, everybody. My name is Lindsey, and we have a gentle yoga class that will transition into a restorative practice for us. So, we'll have a few prompts nearby for our restorative practice. A bolster and blocks plus a strap is wonderful, or some thick blankets, or some big pillows from the couch. Just something with a little give, but also a little on the firm side. So books also covered with the blanket work wonderful. Anyways, all those things you can use for our practice. For our warm up, we will be starting in a standing position. So we'll make our way onto our mat and slowly help ourselves into a standing position. And we'll start to settle into the feet, planting the feet about hips distance apart. And we'll press down into the feet, starting to warm up in through the legs, drawing the belly in, broaden the collarbones, extend the fingers down towards the floor. Taking a moment to feel into the feet. We're going to start to rock forward and back on the feet, feeling the heels take over, feeling the big toe area, the toe mounds take over, and then finding that spot where both the big toe mounds or the toe mound area, the front of the feet, and the heel area are equally pressing down into the floor. So making those adjustments, and then we'll start to sway from left to right, feeling the left leg take over, feeling the right leg take over. Just taking a few of these sways, and then we'll start to find that middle ground again, where both the right and the left are holding an equal amount of weight. Lift and spread the toes, slowly plant them down one at a time. Okay, take a moment here, feel that sensation in through the feet. Beautiful work. We'll bring the hands together and interlace the fingers, bring the forearms together, and we're going to bring the knuckles underneath the chin. Starting to move with our breath. As you inhale, lift the elbows up towards the sky. Exhale, side out the mouth, tilt the head back, squeeze the forearms together. Inhale, bring the head back to neutral, lift the elbows up nice and high. Exhale, tilt the head back, side out, squeeze the forearms together. Again, inhale, lift the elbows, neutralize the chin. Exhale, tilt it back, squeeze the forearms together. Last one, inhale, head to neutral, elbows up nice and high. Exhale, tilt it back, side out. Great job. Bring the head back to neutral, lower the hands down towards the floor. We're going to take a minute and windmill ourselves from side to side, allowing the arms to kind of flop and swing, giving ourselves a little massage on the back of the body when the knuckles hit the back. And it's rotating, getting a nice twist in through the spine. Great work. Starting to pause that windshield wiper. We'll roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Taking a few of those shoulder rolls forward, up, back, and down. Great work. One more time. Slowing down the breath with the movement. Pause with the shoulders back and down. Replant down through the feet. Engage the legs. Draw the belly in. Broaden through the collarbones. Nice, slow, deep breath here. Okay, we'll start in with our sun salutations, making our way towards the back of our mat. Rooting down into the feet, extending the fingers towards the floor, nice tall length through the spine. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead, lift the gaze up. As you exhale, forward fold, hinging from the hips, coming down nice and slow. Bring the hands to the shins. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to rise ourselves all the way back up through standing, stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae. Arms come up, gaze up. Exhale, hands come down through heart center. Great work. Adding on from there. Inhale, lift the arms up, lift the gaze up. Exhale, forward fold, hinging from the hips. Bring the hands to the shins. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. This time we'll bend the knees enough that we can plant the hands at the top of the mat. With the hands planted, we'll start to walk the hands forward, coming into our plank pose. Planting the palms at the top of the mat, lower the hips in line with the shoulders. Great work. As you exhale, lower the knees down towards the floor, bend the elbows, lower the chest down towards the floor. Resting on the tummy here, lengthen the legs out nice and long. Hands underneath the shoulders, elbows squeeze in towards the body, squeeze the muscles of the glutes. Inhale, lift the chest up, lift the gaze up for our low cobra. And exhale, slowly lower the head and the chest back down onto the floor. Keep the knees planted, hands push down into the floor. Exhale, push the hips up, coming into our tabletop position. Tuck the toes back behind you. With the next exhale, push the hips up towards the sky, coming into your downward facing dog. Take a moment here to pedal the feet left and right. Stretching out, taking those nice, slow, deep breaths. Fantastic. Start to walk the hands and the feet back towards each other, meeting back up in our forward fold. Nice soft bends in the knees, lengthening the spine. Bring the hands to the shins and inhale, rise up halfway. Fantastic. Exhale, slowly lower the head and the chest back down towards the floor. Bend through the knees. Inhale, rise yourself all the way back up, stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae. Arms come up, gaze up. Exhale, hands come down through heart center. Great work. Again, our sun salutation. Inhale, lift the arms up, lift the gaze up. Exhale, forward fold, hinging from the hips. Bringing the hands towards the shins. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees enough that you can plant the hands at the top of the mat. Start to walk the hands out nice and long onto the mat, meeting up in our plank pose. Take your time getting into the position. Lower the hips in line with the shoulders. Press the mat away. Then we'll exhale to lower down onto our belly. So either bending the knees and bending the elbows to lower down, or keeping the knees lifted and lowering all the way down in a full push-up. With the hands underneath the shoulders, inhale, push into the palms for our low cobra. Exhale, soften and release the torso back down towards the floor. We're going to take one more back bend here. So either that low cobra or rising up into upward facing dog. I'll lead us through upward facing dog, but feel free to choose low cobra if you prefer. Start everyone by squeezing the muscles of the legs, squeezing the glutes, press into the palms, squeeze the elbows towards the body. With the inhale, push into the palms, start to lift the chest up, press into the palms a little bit more for upward facing dog. Lift the hips up off the ground. Hips lower down towards the floor. So we're getting this back bend. Press into the mat, lift the chest up, lift the gaze up. Excellent work. Everyone, as you exhale, slowly lower yourself all the way back down onto the floor. Great job. With the palms underneath the shoulders, keep the knees planted. Exhale, push up into tabletop position. Tuck the toes back behind you. Exhale, push the hips up towards the sky, downward facing dog. Take another moment here in our downward facing dog, taking 3 long, slow breaths, pedaling out the feet. Slow the breath down, even it out. Fantastic work. We'll start to walk the hands and the feet again back towards each other, meeting in our forward fold. Give yourself a moment to dangle here. And we'll bring the hands towards the shins. Inhale to rise up halfway, straightening the back, head and tailbone reach in opposite directions. And exhale, forward fold, rounding back down over the legs. Inhale to rise ourselves all the way back up through standing, stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae. Arms come up, gaze up. Exhale, hands come down through heart center. Beautiful work. One more sun salutation. Inhale, lift the arms up, lift the gaze up. Exhale, forward fold, hinging from the hips. Bring the hands towards the shins. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees enough that the hands can plant on the mat. Walk the hands forward towards the top of the mat, meeting up in our plank pose. Shoulders over wrists, hips in line with the shoulders. Keep the belly engaged, drawing in. With the exhale, make your way down onto the floor. So either bending the knees and bending the elbows to lower down, or keep the legs straight. Bend the elbows, lower all the way down through that push-up. With the hands planted underneath the shoulders, extend the legs out nice and long. Squeeze the muscles of the legs. As you inhale, push into the palms. Either take low cobra or pressing up a little more into your upward facing dog. Exhale to lower yourself all the way back down onto the floor. Plant the knees down into the floor, press into the palms, exhale, rise up into our tabletop position. Tuck the toes back behind you. Exhale, push the hips up towards the sky, downward facing dog. Taking that time, walking the legs out. Wonderful work. Nice, slow, deep breaths here. Take your time, slow down the breath. Fantastic. We'll start to walk the hands and the feet again back towards each other. Meeting back up in our forward fold. Take a moment here, just lengthening out the spine. We'll take an extra moment. So grab opposite elbows here and enjoy a gentle dangle, maybe a gentle sway from side to side in this forward fold. Wonderful work. Starting to pause that sway, pausing that movement, releasing opposite elbows, draw the lower belly in. And as you exhale, slowly start to ragdoll yourself all the way back up through standing, stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae, nice and slow. Roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Extend the fingers towards the floor, root down through the feet. Take a moment here. Nice, slow, deep breath. Fantastic. Feeling that warmth in through the body. Wonderful work. We'll start our transition into our restorative practice. So this might be a nice time to put on some nice warm socks, to bring a blanket nearby, to put on a sweatshirt. And we're going to start to build our first support. So for my demonstration, I'll be using a block on the short edge and a block on the tall edge, fairly close together. They're going to help support this ramp that I'm creating. So if you don't have classic blocks and bolsters, you can use a series of pillows or towels kind of stacked so that the one end is lifted and one end is lowered. So I'm going to bring these blankets close by so that you can see kind of a variation or an adjustment or a little setup that you might enjoy. We're taking a supported fish pose, which is a nice chest opening. We'll bring our hips to the base of our ramp here. We'll scooch the hips back so it touches, and then I'll lower the torso back over this ramp. So as you make your way down, you might find that you'd want a little bit more support underneath the head. And you can bring an extra pillow or extra blanket underneath the head if that feels like something that would benefit you. If the arms are unable to reach the ground comfortably, you might choose to prop the arms up either with a towel or a pillow, a rolled blanket like I have. And we'll just start to build that comfort in this posture. So starting to settle ourselves down nice and slow, making sure that the spine feels supported, that our ramp isn't maybe too wobbly. It feels like it's supporting us. And then when you get into that comfortable position into the spine, you can start to extend the legs out nice and long. You can open the legs up into a wide V shape if that feels nice for you today. Or you can keep the feet more narrow. And we'll take a moment here, figuring out our setup, getting all those wiggles out, just allowing ourselves to settle in a little bit deeper, a little bit more restfully. Maybe tucking the tailbone just a little bit, lengthening out the lower back, deciding if you want palms up towards the sky or palms down towards the floor. And just a little reminder, with our restorative practice, we hold the poses for a long time. So we'll be in this posture for about 10 minutes. So give yourself some time, really get comfortable. With the restorative practice, the initial goal with our setup is not to feel any sensation. We are so supported by the props that we could almost fall asleep. That we experience almost no sensation, that we're so supported, so surrounded by our props that we aren't holding any muscle tension or muscle engagement. We can just release and soften. And these long, slow poses allow for our nervous system to get to a place of supreme calmness and relaxation. We're turning on our rest, digest, and heal systems of the body, clearing out any of the hormones of stress, adrenaline, cortisol, allowing those to dissipate in through the body and allow the healing processes to start to take over. So if you notice any tension or any tightness starting to accumulate as we hold these postures, I invite you to reestablish a feeling of support and comfort. Instead of feeling like you need to muscle your way through this long hold, finding release in the posture. So that might mean that you lower the ramp down a little bit so that you're closer towards a reclined position. It might mean that you bring a pillow underneath the head or underneath the arms. You might support underneath the knees, giving the knees a little bend with the help of a pillow. Now, as we sink down into this posture, I'll lead us through a few rounds of Viloma 3-part breath. So in our Viloma breath, we take a full, slow, deep inhale, and then we pause at the top and release 1/3 of the exhale and pause. 2/3 of the exhale and pause. And then exhale completely, starting the cycle all over again. So I'll lead us through 3 rounds of Viloma 3-part exhale, and then allow us to take another 3 minutes to experience that breath on our own. So starting our breath by exhaling out everything through the nose. Inhaling fully through the nose, fill the chest, fill the belly. Pausing at the top. Exhale 1/3 the breath. Exhale 2/3 of the breath. Exhale completely. Inhale fully, breathing in through the nose. Pausing at the top. Exhale 1/3. Exhale 2/3. Exhale completely. Last round with me. Inhale, fill the chest, fill the belly. Pause. Exhale 1/3. Exhale 2/3. Exhale completely. And we'll take our next 3 minutes to practice this Viloma 3-part breath, following that same rhythm of complete inhale, and then the exhale in 1/3, 2/3, and complete. Take your last round of Viloma 3-part breath. And then come back to a nice, slow, steady in and out. Feeling that slowed down breath. We'll start to make our way slowly, gently out of this posture, starting to point and flex the feet. We'll bend the knees and plant the soles of the feet, knees up towards the sky. Pressing into the palms, slowly lift the chest up off the bolster, lifting the back up off the bolster. Rising ourselves to seated, we'll grab onto the shins, lengthen the spine, draw the shoulders down, and we'll start to draw the chin down towards the chest, stretching in through the back of the neck. Bring the right ear towards the right shoulder. Chin back to chest. Left ear towards left shoulder. Chin back to chest. Rise yourself all the way back through neutral spine and roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. We'll move into our deer pose, which is a twist. Using the same setup of the prompts, we'll rotate ourselves so that the right thigh comes to rest at the base of the bolster. Knees are bent here, maybe stacking over each other. Might give your prop a little shake, make sure it's still nice and stable. Moving into our deer pose, lengthen through the spine, grow nice and tall here, and start to rotate the collarbones over the bolster. We're going to walk the hands out and lower our torso down onto the bolster, resting on the belly, resting on the right cheek. Now again, the arms might feel comfortable here, supported by blankets or pillows, maybe an extra little support. Maybe you lowered your bolster down or lowered your ramp down so that you're able to bring the palms comfortably to the floor. All good, whatever your setup looks like. As you get the torso comfortable, just taking all those little fidgets, all those little wiggles, maybe there's a tickle that you need to alleviate. Getting that torso settled, will then start to extend, if you would like, the left leg back behind you. So the right leg stays bent at first, or you might choose to slightly open that right leg out. Again, we aren't going for the deepest sensations here. We're holding each side for 7 minutes. So allow yourself to get totally comfortable here. So if you extend it out, maybe you want to draw it back in just a little bit. Getting yourself nice and comfortable here. Resting yourself down, closing the eyes. Come back to feeling the sensation of the breath moving in and out through the nose. Start to follow that sensation of breath from the nose, down through the throat, and then into the lungs. Follow that journey of air in and out. Breathing in through the nose, the throat, and the lungs. Breathing out the lungs, the throat, and the nose. We'll start to scan the body for areas where you are experiencing sensation, or maybe that subtle creeping in of sensation in this posture. Maybe you're experiencing that twist in through the neck. Maybe you're feeling the compression of the right hip. Maybe you're feeling the compression of your abdominal area. Maybe you're feeling a subtle gripping between the shoulder blades. And just noticing where these sensations are starting to creep in, but without judgment, just noticing. Once you have noticed where the sensations are, you can start to use the breath in a similar way, feeling the breath move in through the nose, in through the lungs, and then moving into those areas that are experiencing tightness or tension. Using that inhale to fill the body with oxygen, maybe visualizing it as a bright, healing or calming light, and targeting that area on the inhale, using that breath. And then the exhale helps soften and release and removes anything that is unnecessary for us right now. Those unnecessary things might be that extra little tension or tightness in areas, or it might be thought patterns that aren't serving us in this moment. Using that breath, using the inhale to fill the area, to fill the body or the targeted spots with that bright healing light. And the exhale to remove anything that's not serving us. We'll slowly start to help ourselves out of this posture. Rebending the left knee a little bit, pushing into the palms. Slowly help yourself up off of your prop. Unwind yourself, coming back to neutral. Feet planted, knees up towards the sky. We'll grab onto the shins again, lengthen the spine, and draw the chin again down towards the chest. Stretching out through the back of the neck. Take a slow, deep breath here. Then we'll bring the right ear towards the right shoulder. Take a slow, deep breath here. Then bring the left ear over towards the left shoulder. Take that slow, deep breath again. Chin back to chest, and then lift the head to neutral. Roll the shoulders again, forward, up, back, and down. We'll move into the second side of our deer pose, bringing the left thigh to the base of the bolster. With the knees bent, pressing into the palms, lengthen the spine, grow nice and tall, and start to rotate the torso so that the collarbones angle over the bolster. As you are ready, slowly lowering yourselves down over the bolster, over your ramp, extending the hands down towards the floor or to a prop, and we'll come to rest on the left cheek. You might choose, once you feel comfortable in the torso, to find a variation in the legs, either choosing to extend one or both, or maybe neither. Finding that comfortable spot, taking any wiggles or fidgets that just help you become a little bit more comfortable. Come back to following your breath. And as you notice any tight spots, any tension, maybe any thought patterns that you can help release, use that breath, use that visualization of the healing light entering the body on the inhale. And the exhale allows that to move out of the body. Taking one more minute in this posture. Notice again your breath. Slowly, gently bring a little bit of movement back into your fingers and your toes. Taking a nice, slow, deep breath. Press into the palms and slowly, gently help yourself back up. Unwinding yourself. Planting the feet. Bringing the knees again up towards the sky. Take your time. Bringing the hands again towards the shins, lengthening the spine. Again, bring the chin towards the chest. Take a nice, slow, deep breath here. Bring the left ear towards the left shoulder. Nice, slow, deep breath here. Then we'll bring the right ear towards the right shoulder. Nice, slow, deep breath. Come back towards center. Stack yourselves up again, nice and tall. Roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Wonderful. For our next posture, we'll be moving into a supported bridge. For this posture, you can use many different items to help elevate the hips. I will demonstrate using a block on the lowest setting, and I'll bring a blanket over it for a little extra padding for the hips. So I still want to keep the block fairly low. So I'm just unwinding the blanket a little bit. You might choose to keep a blanket up near the top underneath your head, or you might choose to do without the blanket underneath the head. I will be demonstrating with the use of a strap also, as this will allow the legs to not have to be engaged to keep them parallel. So I'll bring my hips towards my support, and I'll place the strap around my knees or just above the knees, around the thigh area. So when I fully extend my legs, they're still about hips distance apart, something like that. I'll bring myself to the block, and then I'll lower my hips down and then start to lift them up onto my prop, or maybe I'll scooch them underneath my hips. So as you're getting set up here, if it's with a thick pillow or something nice and low, maybe just a rolled blanket for today underneath the hips, I invite you to bring that support so that it is underneath the sacrum. So a little closer towards the tailbone. Settling yourself in and feeling into the position. Noticing if it feels too intense on the hips, too much of a lift. You can always lower down just using a blanket, maybe a smaller pillow. Getting that little tuck of the tailbone to lengthen out the spine. The arms can rest on the hip points, on the belly, on the chest, down by the sides, or maybe they extend up overhead into the diamond pose. Get yourself nice and comfortable, any of those fidgets or wiggles. And we'll take 10 minutes in this posture. Breathing nice and slow. Now, if in your practice you have a dedication or an intention that you regularly come back to, I invite you to revisit that intention or dedication. If you would like to create a new dedication or intention for your practice, I invite you to create one using positive language in the present tense. And in this posture, we will maintain that dedication or intention, feeling out all the senses, not the details of how we will get to that dedication or intention, how it will come to pass, but just feeling in our body, in our minds, what it will be like when we have that dedication or intention active. Slowly start to make our way out of this posture, bringing some movement into the toes and the fingers. Start to push into the feet, squeeze the muscles of the glutes, and we'll slowly lift the hips up off of the support, off of the prop, and lower the hips all the way back down onto the floor. Take it nice and slow here. Noticing that sensation into the hips as they make contact with the floor. Very slowly, gently drawing the knees into the chest, giving ourselves a nice big hug. We'll take a moment to rock the knees from side to side, massaging out the lower back. Now, if you have a strap around your legs, you can slowly remove that and place it off to the side. And if you have a small pillow, blanket, or block, you can bring that over towards your left hip area. We're going to take our supine tree pose as our final postures. Keep a hold of the left leg, slowly extend the right leg out nice and long, lowering it down onto the floor. That left knee drawn in towards the chest, give it a little squeeze. And then we'll plant the left foot down on the inside of that right thigh. And then slowly open the left knee out towards the left side of the mat. Bringing that blanket or that block just as a little support of that left knee. Hands can rest on the belly and the chest or down by the side, maybe on the hip points, or again, maybe reaching up overhead. We'll just be here for 3 minutes, but still allow yourself to get completely comfortable in this posture. Start to make our way out of this side, slowly lifting the left knee back up towards the sky. And we'll draw the right knee all the way in towards the chest. Giving ourselves that nice little squeeze, the drawing in of the right knee. And slowly extends the left leg out nice and long onto the floor. Now, if you used any props on the left side, you can bring those props over to the right side. As you're ready, slowly lower the right foot down to the inside of the left thigh, and then begin to open that right knee out towards the right side of the mat, allowing the leg to rest maybe on that prop, or maybe it doesn't need the prop today. Taking these 3 minutes to become completely comfortable, opening up through the hips. Continue to come back to your dedication or your intention. We'll slowly start to make our way out of this posture, lifting the right knee back up towards the sky, drawing the left knee up, drawing both of them in towards the chest, giving ourselves again that nice big hug. Take a deep breath here. We'll begin to make our way over onto our side body, resting in a fetal position. Head supported by the hands, maybe. You can keep the eyes closed here, the gaze softly lowered, just taking a moment. We'll offer ourselves some words of gratitude. Little thank you for prioritizing our health and our wellness today. As you're ready, slowly, gently helping yourself back up into a seated posture. Taking a moment to feel into the physical, the mental, and the emotional bodies. With your next inhale, lift the arms up overhead. And exhale, draw the hands down through heart center. May this practice be a benefit to all beings. Thank you and namaste.